Hello and welcome to the Tried It podcast, where we discuss all things from millennial struggles to relationships and love and everything in between. I'm Maya.
I'm Jade.
And I'm Kadisha.
Welcome.
Hi guys.
Hey.
And welcome to another episode of Tried It Pick and Mix.
Yes.
Happy to have you here. Welcome. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good, except the weather is shite.
I know.
Yeah, the weather is very miserable. It's
Bringing
dark
me down.
outside.
Did you hear there's a hurricane coming?
Oh, what?
There's a hurricane hitting the UK.
Doesn't shock me.
A hurricane.
Outside now,
The
look how
worst
it is.
weather the
Yeah,
UK
but it's
has ever
raining.
seen.
It's not windy.
It
It's
is a bit
coming.
windy.
It's coming. It's not here yet.
It was windy
It's on its
earlier.
way.
Where's it coming from?
Good question. I don't know. I didn't read into all of that. This is something like
That's
80
normally
miles
the
per
first
hour
thing
winds.
they say.
All I saw was 80 miles per hour winds. It's coming. It's coming. It said some name beginning with a D, I think.
Oh, God.
On a lighter note, pick a mix.
Pick and mix.
We love these episodes. We've been getting some really, really good feedback
We
about
have,
these. So
yeah.
we're really, really happy to keep bringing them to you. And like we always say, please send us ideas that you want us to talk about maybe.
Mhm.
And we'll consider them.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, make sure you go and watch our Come Down With Me vlog on YouTube.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Do it.
Okay, cool. Who's going first this week?
Me.
Okay.
Okay. I want to speak about voting.
Politics.
Now, no. Well, yeah. But I mean, not the politics side of it. I'm not going to speak about specific things and like, have you voted for this? Have you voted for that? I'm just talking about voting as a concept.
Okay.
So obviously it's rammed down our throats all the time. You should vote, you should vote, you should vote. We obviously have the demographic of being young. You should definitely vote if you're young. Demographic of being women. You should definitely do it if you're women. And then me and you have it of being underrepresented people of colour. Again, you should do it if you're that as well. Now, I personally don't really subscribe to voting for these reasons that we're supposed to. I just feel like the entire, political government is extremely flawed and our only options aren't even good options. Do you know what I mean? So it's like to vote for one of those two isn't going to better me anyway. So I do feel like it's really, really tipped. And then even when they do have someone who we actually like and we're like, all right, cool, this could be, a step forward, they don't really have much power about what goes on anyway. So then why am I voting? But then I also do understand that that's a flawed way of thinking because if you don't vote, then how can you expect anything to happen? And that's the first step. So you can't expect change and you can't expect better people and all these things if you're not even believing in the system that we have.
It's like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it.
100%. So I wanted to pose the question to you guys and ask you how you feel about voting. And then I've got a bit more that I want to bring to the table, but ask you that first.
So before, I never actually used to vote. Obviously, that is like a big privilege that I don't even have. That lamp is smoking. Is that right?
Yeah, it must be the diffuser like it was yesterday.
In the lamp?
I don't think it's smoking. I think it's just the
Alright.
dust
I
and the
can't see
air on the
smoke.
dust.
It was bare smoking me. Okay. So I never
I
actually...
got life insurance. So how about you too?
I never actually used to vote, but obviously I recognise that's part of the privilege that I have, that I didn't really take into consideration or think like I needed to care about it. But obviously I know that everyone should vote and it is important. But I just feel like, for me, I almost feel like there's so much pressure like with it that if I'm going to vote, I'm going to want to know exactly who they are, have read everything and like understand it and like proper understand thoroughly like what is going on. Because I just feel like if you're going to do it, you better understand like what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Know the decision that you're making.
Yeah. But like, I just feel it gets so confusing and there's like so much to it that I just don't feel like I want to vote if I'm not thoroughly informed about what I'm voting for. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make an ill-informed vote. So I almost feel like I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Do you know what I mean? So, but obviously now I've had people like Baseo who are helping me understand, which is like a new thing. Like even in school, I knew that it was important. So I actually, for A-levels, took a class about a politics class because I was like, wanted to do that for A-levels because I thought this is so important that we know. But when I went into the class, like I just felt like it was already so advanced. Like I didn't have a clue because we're not taught it at schools. So I literally had no idea. And I was like, I can't do this because I have no idea of one word that's coming out of his mouth. So yeah, I don't know. I do feel like in recent years, I mean, I understand better the importance of voting, and with people like Baseo who can explain what's going on, I will continue to vote and understand better. But yeah, I do think it's been tough. It's tricky. What do you think?
Obviously, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I've been of age to vote for 7 years, and the first time I voted was Brexit. which is really bad because that was just the other day based. That was like 2 years ago. So, and the reason I haven't voted is again because I just assumed my vote's not going to mean anything. Doesn't matter what I vote. I don't know. Everyone's fucked. So it doesn't matter who I choose because they're just going to do what they want anyway and blah, blah, blah. And out of sheer laziness, I couldn't be asked to research, even though it is my life that it affects. Like when I'm complaining that milk used to be £1 and now it's £1.80. And I'm like, oh, the government. I could have done something about it with my little one vote. Do you know what I mean? But the amount of people that think that way and don't vote because of that.
Yeah.
We could have kept the milk at £1, do you know what I mean? So when I did vote Brexit, that was the first time I voted. And after doing it, I did feel quite empowered. Like I did feel like
I've made a difference.
I've made a difference. Like if everybody actually does this.
Especially because it was a tight thing. Like we really weren't sure who was going to win. So it was like...
so historically as well, just when it does come to politics and me thinking about it, I remember being about... in the year 2000, how old was I? About 6, 7. Around 7 years old, 8 years old, I think Tony Blair was in Parliament. And I remember there was like voting time and my mum, like we got a thing through the door and then there was just, I remember conversations in the house and I just heard Tony Blair, Labour, blah, blah, blah. And ever since then, I just always assumed Labour were the good people and Labour's red. So I just always assumed red, good, blue, bad. And then growing up, I just like, even if I was to vote, I'd be like, I just vote for Labour anyway. But I didn't know I couldn't tell you who was in Labour, what Labour stood for, what Labour meant. But just because that's what I grew up in my house and that's what my parents spoke about, that's what I would have chose had I voted. But not to say that I wouldn't choose them now, but I just would now look into it more. So around Brexit time...
My dad used to tell me who to vote for. He'd be like, go.
Yeah, exactly. So around Brexit time... I was watching the adverts and stuff and the different campaigns and I still wasn't doing my entire research, but I was a bit more invested because this is literally life or death, basically. And just watching the two campaigns and watching how they're so different and watching how they're like, we're going to give you this, we're going to do that for you, we're going to just help the NHS and we're going to do that and don't pick them because... And I was really like sold, like they were really convincing. Obviously now everything...
It's all lies.
Everything has transpired. Like, I think it was like the night after, they were like, by the way, we're not doing that site.
Yeah,
by the way, here's the small print.
Yeah. And I was just like, you've literally, this is like the night after. No, not me, but like whoever voted.
Yeah.
They, like, do you know what I mean? Like, did they choose because they wanted to? Did they choose purely off of these campaigns? Because they were really good campaigns from an outside point of view. But...
That's the thing. That's what I always think as well. Even if I do read up and listen to what they have to say, most of it's all bullshit anyway because it is all it's all just lies. Like they are trained in how to manipulate you and convince you and say the right things. And a lot of the times, like I might listen to it and be like, yeah, it's good. And I think the first vote I ever did was for the Green Party.
Really?
Yeah. Like I knew that they weren't going to get it, but I was like,
is that your local parliament or the big parliament? Usually do like local parliament for your borough. And then they have...
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then they have...
no, it's for my local parliament.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First thing is, as you were talking, I was actually noticing that's a very good colour on you. Second thing is...
Thank you.
Gripped by the talk,
I was
clearly.
literally like, I'm going to listen to what she says. I'm going to look up. But second thing I was going to say is, I share... like a collective of what you guys have said. And it sort of gets to me when I'm told like, oh, you should be voting. You know, women died for you. Women died for you. The reason that doesn't is because the women that were dying for me in England, I don't think they were dying for me. Do you know what I mean? They didn't hope that it was me that got the option. Yeah. So I'm a bit removed from that. The second thing is, I think 100%, similar to what we were talking about on the episode about like Black history and movements and stuff and Rosa Parks, these were things that were pivotal of that time. But I feel like there's an argument of the fact that no matter what happens in government, if we really, really wanted to start a movement or a change, there's enough other forces, such as public figures, that we could all rally together and do things.
Yeah.
Really and truly. Yeah. Like, are you telling me that Kanye West couldn't overpower Trump?
No, I believe he probably could. But the world's fucked.
So. 100%. But I'm saying the option is there. Yeah. So it's like, I can't think that like me ticking that box, which is flawed anyway, the scales are tipped, all of these reasons is going to be the deciding factor of like how the country's run. Or even if it's not in this vote, it's another type of vote. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've got such a battered perception of the powers that be or whatever you want to call them, because they've never come through.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was going to say, and I feel like even if everybody did vote, let's say everybody did vote for Remain, and we did get the decision that everyone's claiming that they wanted, it would be like a donkey and carrot scenario where they would be like, okay, well, we're staying, but everything's still going to change. Like life's still never going to be as it was. And then it's still just like lose-lose.
100%.
So even if you did vote and you got, it's just like, so I'm saying it's double-edged sword.
And there's like, I believe as well that politics does so many things to like, was it you saying this about how you don't hear anything about it for a while and then it comes out, like a story or a big thing comes out to distract you from something big that's going to happen. Yeah, exactly. So like what she was saying, you say, in fact, what were you saying?
I can't remember what I was saying it about in particular, but basically something drastic will be happening in the world and then they'll just throw something on the news to distract you from it. So like, what was happening? Something was happening, for example.
Area 51.
The rainforest
Is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah.
So the rainforest is burning, but they want to throw up
Area 51.
Area 51 because we've had a sighting when there ain't been no damn sighting. And then, for example, something else was going on and they wanted to tell us about Shamina Begum. Where's she now? What happened to her now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody,
exactly.
we've moved on. Something
She
else
actually just got out recently. She got out of prison.
Who knew she was in prison?
Yeah.
They just stopped talking about it. This is what I'm saying. And then we're just all supposed to move on.
It's not that they stopped talking about, but that's no longer a life-threatening issue. We don't all need to read that every day now. There's other things that we need to read. And that's that time that she spent on the front page has been time that the other stuff that we should have been on the front page isn't there because there wasn't room for that and she's been there instead. Yeah, I do get that. So so to summarize, I just felt like voting is something that we shouldn't, it is a right, definitely. But those who don't choose to exercise that right, as long as you're trying to make a difference in some other way. I'm not here for people that are like, I don't vote, I don't give a fuck, the country's shit.
Change protesters?
What you mean, like protesting, like in the same kind of vibe as voting?
To make a change?
I mean, yeah. I don't have much hope. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be negative and pessimistic, but I don't see how that is going to make any differences. I believe that the power of change lies with people collecting together and speaking to people who are in positions to make changes.
But do you know how that could make a change? Because we're saying it's not going to make a change now because it's just a small group of people causing havoc on London Bridge or wherever they were. But if every single person was like, I'm not going into work today.
Definitely,
and I'm not going back to work until the government does something.
Definitely.
Then Pizza Hut would be closed, Superdrug would be closed, Boots would be closed, pharmacy would be closed, everywhere would be closed. So then they would have to do something.
Yeah, but then
people won't team up enough to do that.
Exactly. There's no unity.
But this is the same with voting. So
yeah, definitely.
Everyone thinks, oh, I'm just not going to do it. Like, leave them to it. And whatever result we get, we get.
Yeah, but
because even me, I'm like, I hope the climate change people make a difference for me.
But I'm going to stay at home. With my feet up.
It's raining outside.
Yeah. No, 100%. I do get that. But I just feel like what my point was trying to get across is there's not just one way. Do you know what I mean? Like voting was the way for a long time.
Other ways we can make changes.
That helped free a lot of people. That, we got good stuff from that. But I don't think that can make a change anymore because clearly bare people voted for Brexit. What happened? Bare people didn't vote for Trump, apparently. What happened?
In saying that, there's countries where people don't get to vote and they just have these horrid leaders like Sudan. And then their life is just a misery because they don't have the option to say anything. They just have to do as they're told.
Definitely.
So
I know we are blessed to live in a democracy, of course, but I'm just saying that isn't enough to just be like, okay, they live in a democracy, they're so lucky. It's because there's so much inequality and bad stuff and corruption that happens in this democracy. It's a lot better than a lot of places, obviously, but we should.
It's a long way to go.
Exactly, and we shouldn't just think like, okay, yeah, we can vote and we don't vote. That's so bad. Like I'm saying, yeah, vote if you want to, but don't vote if you don't want to. But then if you don't vote, do understand that you should be making a difference somewhere else and trying to make a change in another way. If that's
and sometimes I feel like we're under this guise of like, oh, there is democracy, like we can have a difference, but really and truly, how much of an impact do we actually have? Do you know what I mean? How much choice do we really have? There's all this corruption, all this stuff going on at the top, and there's all these big corporations and stuff that are ruling everything. So really and truly, I don't even know how much of a say we even have. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if there was as much evidence to prove that we do have a say and that does impact us, that there was as there is that there isn't, then I'll be here for it. But the amount of things I can recall to you that show that our opinion doesn't matter and who we are is not represented through like politics, but change can be done through other ways, then do you know what I mean? That's why
I think the concept of voting is good.
Of course.
Yeah,
because
obviously,
even if you say like hands up who wants the red sweet and hands up who wants the blue sweet, then you know. But the concept, if it was to work, it would be great.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they make us vote to not listen.
Yes.
So it's not the issue. The voting's not the issue. But so everybody, ideally in an ideal world, should vote to make the difference. But the issue is with the powers that be that don't give a shit about what you vote, basically.
Yeah. It could, politics is about ego.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else.
Yeah.
Other episode there. But anyway, that's me done. So someone else have a go.
All right, shall I go?
Yeah.
All right, so my one, I feel like almost like I talk about a lot of
don't
this
just
kind
say it,
of
Jade.
stuff. Huh?
Don't say it. Are you going to say, I never say anything funny?
I'm always
No,
so
I'm
depressing.
not saying
People think
that,
I'm the
actually,
most
you
depressed.
bastards. I'm not saying that. No, I am saying the last pick and mix, I think it was a bit, no, the one before that actually was a bit of a sexual nature. And this one is, again, I'm not kind of going on with a theme here. It's just
We're here
things
for it.
that have, basically, I've recently entered
Any
into
single
the dating
lads,
scene.
you know where to
So
go.
these things are just coming up in my mind, or like, anyways. So the other day I was talking to my friend, and he was telling me this funny story about how like one time he was at home and he was with a girl, and then he had his mum come home and he had to like let this girl go out the window. Like she had to get out the window, and he was old. Like I was thinking, oh, was this when you were like, you know, when you were young? And he's like, no.
Last week.
3 hours ago.
She just left now.
And then I was just found it really interesting that I'm hearing more and more actually the more I talk to my male friends that like a lot of them aren't allowed to have girls over. And like I thought it was just, I was under the impression that it was just a girls thing, like girls can't have guys over because obviously they're dad, and like there's a lot of pressure on women to not be sexually active like that. But then I was always understood that girls go to guys' house because they're all allowed. But actually I don't think that's the case, and especially because like people are living at home till an older age. I'm thinking, God, like if you don't allow your children to
Have sex in your house.
what like where are they going? Like what are they
Airbnb.
doing? So like, what do you guys think about it? Do you think like parents should tell their kids, should be strict on their kids about having people over, or
Is it parents should tell their kids or parents should tell their adult children?
Well, you tell me.
Because there's a difference. If you're talking about parents and people who are 18 and below,
Right.
that's one thing. If you're talking about parents who've got 28-year-olds living in their house, that's another thing.
I never thought that men were allowed to have, like boys were allowed to have people over freely because of a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like the boys I was around mostly had like cultural backgrounds where you wouldn't be just bringing any girls home. It just couldn't happen. But then 100% it got to a point where like age-wise, when the boys passed about 19, then it became more casual.
Okay.
But still for me, that could never just be a casual thing. Like it had to be a boyfriend who my parents knew for a minute and then we can talk about him staying over downstairs. and if you come into my room, the door's got to be open. Like them ones. Like even it took my mum a long time to let my current boyfriend, stay over. A long time. It was more from her that it was a biggie.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you stay over, you got to sleep in a different room. Proper. Like,
So what would you guys do with your kids? Would you let them or no? Because I just keep thinking that if they're not doing it there,
they're doing it
they're
somewhere
doing
else.
it somewhere. It's not like, you know what I mean? You're
But
going to
what's
stop
wrong
them
with
from
them doing it
it
somewhere else?
What, in the park?
Yeah,
You know, what if they
obviously.
can't be affording?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it almost could encourage more objectification because you can't take them home, and maybe it would be more in a respectful environment. Do you know what I mean? When they're in your house and like, do you know what I mean? You might respect them more, but I feel like then it could encourage just like you're trying to do it in the street, you're just trying to do it like in the park, you're just trying to do it wherever you can because.
No,
you know what I
definitely,
mean?
100% agree with you. And also it's I think it's difficult because with a male, typically, when you bring a girl home, you can't be moving as reckless.
Yeah.
Females as well, but females just don't do it as much anyway. But with males, like if you're bringing a girl home and your mum's going to see the girl now and then other family members or whatever, you can't just be bringing other girls back
Teaches
now.
you to just
That's it. Yeah. Sort of
to be
thing.
selective.
Exactly. So it's like, it's less likely that they want to even bring a girl home because then they're going to have to be stuck to that
Yeah.
if they're moving recklessly.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like, I think is the bigger question here. Are we encouraging males to take females more seriously at an earlier age?
Yeah. True.
I don't know if that is the question.
So what would you guys do with your kids?
It's going to be tough.
I think that with my kids, I would encourage them to be open and honest with me. I would like to think I'm going to have an open and honest relationship with my kids, and they'll be able to come to me about anything. We'll be able to talk about anything, and they would feel comfortable enough to be like, Mum, I'm seeing this guy. I like him. Can he come over? Obviously, it will start with dinner. I need to know him, but I'm not just having randoms come and sleep in my house.
Brilliant.
So it would start with dinner, or just start with or just come and chill and like get a sense of you. And then once I see, it's not even going to be I've been seeing him for 3 weeks type vibe either. It's going to be like a good 6 months in, like we really like each other. And then even then, below the age of 15,
Jesus.
Don't even think about it.
You must have lost your mind.
Yeah, even 16. But like if I had like an 18-year-old,
yes,
then I would probably consider it. But again, it would be like a sleep downstairs or like sleep downstairs, you're in your room type vibe.
Maybe kind of strict.
Yeah, and not even strict, just because. But then again, in saying that, I would like to think I'd have a daughter that would respect me enough to not get jiggy with it while I'm next door. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one thing having him sleep over, but you don't have to be having sex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
if you both live at home, if you both live at home, where are you going to be having sex?
Because then that's just going to be his problem as well. He's just going to be like, you know what I mean?
But what if she hasn't had sex yet? What if she's 18 and she's still a virgin?
But then what do you want them to do?
Yeah, that's fine. So what you're saying?
You're saying you want to lose your virginity for the first time with me next door?
Well, the other option is with his mum next door.
Me and your dad next door, furthermore.
Well, the other option is him and his mum, his dad and his mum are next door.
Or no, the other option is, I don't know what the other option is. I think I'll cross that bridge when I get there, and I think I would know what felt right in the moment. But below 18, you can come over, you can chill, not a problem. Like growing up, I was always in relationships. Like any boy I was seeing, it was my boyfriend basically. So they would come to my house, and I did have a few guy friends. They came to my house. My mum would let me have my friends round. We'd just be chilling downstairs, obviously. We'd chill in the kitchen. We'd chill in the living room. There was like a little bit by the front door where there's like
a closet.
Basically, not even a closet. Like you open the door, front door, and then there's a bit where you put your shoes and coats, and then there's another door before you enter the house.
Oh, yeah.
So we would just chill in that bit. Or we would chill outside, literally on the front garden.
Yeah.
Just like I had one friend that would come to my house and we'd literally lay outside and watch stars.
Oh,
I know, lame. But
adorable.
But yeah, I had like my boyfriends over. One time when I had my my first knee surgery, I had a boyfriend at the time, and I was like, not bedbound, but once I was in a spot, I had to stay in that spot. So I was in the living room, but then it was like getting a bit that we had family around and it was just noisy. So I was like, can we go upstairs? And then he was allowed upstairs, but the door had to stay open. Yeah. But then my little sister kept coming in the room every Tuesday. I just need to get this. I just need to get that. I said, you don't need to get anything. Get out. She was about 8 years old. Yeah, but he would come around. Like my parents trusted me enough to not do anything while they were around.
Of course. And you don't even want to because you're shook.
Although they did catch me having sex with said boyfriend, but they weren't around.
What do you mean?
As in like they went out, I was babysitting. I don't know why I'm laughing at this. It's not funny. I was very sad at the time. But in hindsight, like,
go on.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was babysitting. My siblings were upstairs in bed. My parents went out.
Oh God.
And but they didn't catch me like in the act. They caught me just as I'd finished, but they knew what had just happened.
Were you naked?
No, I wasn't naked. I think I was dressed at the top, and then I wrapped a blanket round.
Oh God.
And yeah, no. And then he had to put his jeans on with no pants. He had to put his pants in his pocket. Yeah, and my dad was just like, I think you should leave. and then
so that scene in 50 Cent.
And then I got told, go to your room, I can't even speak to you right now.
Oh, no, that's so awkward. Oh, I could never look them in the eyes.
And then the next day, it was just I just got spoken to in a stern voice. It wasn't like going ballistic and shouting and
how old were
raving.
you?
16.
Yeah, that's much.
Yeah, but it was my boyfriend. They knew him for ages. Like he was coming around the house. Yeah. Hence why like they knew that he was coming over as well while they were going to be out. But I just obviously overstepped the mark. But again, in saying that, after I moved out, because that was like shortly after.
Can't be dealing with this. Come on.
I was like, yo, I need my own space. Yeah, after that, I had another boyfriend, which was my serious boyfriend. I was with him for like 2 years. And I used to go back to my mum's house to babysit my younger brother sometimes. And I came round and that boyfriend came round and my parents were actually out of the city because I was staying for the weekend and he stayed with me and they knew he was staying.
Oh, okay.
But at this age, I know now it's disrespectful what I did.
Yeah.
So at that age with this boyfriend that's serious, we can sleep over together and not have sex.
Definitely. We can hold it down for the night.
But when I was littler, that's what I'm saying about the 18-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
If she knows that if I'm allowing you this, don't take the piss. So, and I learned that from my own experiences.
It's interesting. I do hear that.
I found it really wild when...
But then if you couldn't do it with him, where else would you have done it? Do you know what I mean?
His house.
Okay. Then doesn't
When
he
his
have the same
parents
issues?
were out.
Oh, okay. But it's the same situation, but okay.
Yeah. It's true. It's the thing, it's the mark about the parents' home, but when you're grown and you're contributing, that's a biggie as well. If you're contributing financially, it gets to a point where like, you sort of have to be given some kind of leeway. Like the dynamic between you and your parents changes. Like me having a boyfriend when I was 19 in comparison to having one now, a bear is different. Do you know what I mean? There was no way at 19 when I wasn't paying any bills or anything was happening, or 18, wasn't paying any bills, nothing was happening, that I could demand he stays over, he sleeps in my bed, he uses the shower. Are you crazy? No way.
Yeah.
But now I'm grown and it does change as well when you live with a mum and a dad. Like I don't live with my dad, I just live with my mum. So that makes it a lot easier because I just think like that kind of dynamic, respect, whatever you want to call it, like it does change. So but having said that, you do still need to maintain that respect for your parents and not do it. But what was it? What's it like been for you?
I mean, I'm trying to think of what it was for me. So obviously I met my ex-boyfriend when I was like really young, like 15, 16 or whatever. And then I could just go back to his house. It was all right.
Yeah, but him coming to yours.
Him coming to mine, I don't know. I feel like my parents wouldn't have said anything, but I just feel awkward about it. I don't know. I just feel like because when we were growing up, me and my parents never talked about sex or anything like that. So like, it's just tense. Like I just would feel paranoid that they could hear everything, like every little creak on the freaking bed. So like, I just could like, I felt like for me, like not in my house really.
Would he stay at yours ever?
Yeah. So when we were going out, obviously he would stay at mine, but like, we wouldn't really stay at mine a lot. It'd be more staying at his. But yeah, for him, I guess he just was like, oh, well, I'm a boy. Like, it's fine. Like, he didn't really, like, his parents were fine with it.
I think this is why it's important that you have this open dialogue with your children.
Definitely.
Between your parents. Because if you have I think what made it difficult for my parents is they didn't even know I was having sex. Yeah. So it was even like, it was like a double whammy for them. Do you know what I mean?
I do remember
like,
lying to my parents as well about where I was. Like I would say I was at like a girl's house and then like, I think they kind of would know that I was lying.
This is the thing. And I feel like once you have that sort of relationship with your kids, they feel comfortable enough to tell you and not lie to you and hide from you. And then you sort of build up a trust and a bond.
Definitely.
And as well,
it's not as exciting either.
I don't actually recall having the sex chat with my parents. So if I have that conversation with my child and she knows what to expect and I'm telling her like, don't just give it up because you feel like this, have that conversation, then I feel like she'd probably want to come to me before it even happens. Do you know, Mum, I'm thinking about doing this.
Definitely.
And then, do you know what I mean? Because then if she's 18, she's come to me on that vibe. I know that she's been with this boy for a year. And I think that I might even say, do you know what? I'm going to be out the house for 3 hours.
Yep.
I might do that. Do you know what I mean? Because we've had that conversation. Yep. But don't sneak him in. Don't lie to me. Yeah, don't cross boundaries. If I say you can do this, don't then do that type vibe. Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
Is it the issue of having sex in the house or the boy being in the girl's space like that? Do you know what I mean? Because that's invasive, that's intimate. Having a boy in your home, I know we're just talking about from a boy's point of view, but from a parent's point of view, I feel like my mum at that age wouldn't even have been, or both my parents wouldn't have even have been funny about us having sex because that's so far from their mind. Like, I'm not going to do that. But it's just the fact that you're allowing a boy in your space like that, getting intimate kind of connection as well. And do you know what I mean? Him being in their space, really, that's another issue of it. Because I think you know, in a way you're putting your parents out. Like there's another person in the house. They might be grouchy and rude and not want to be sociable, not want to talk, whatever. And then they might not want him to think that they're like that. All of that. Do you know what I mean? So that's
for
also
me, that was never an issue. Like I had friends over And I'd be like, my friend's coming over. Then I would just start making food. Then I'd be like to my friend, "Just some food." Bear in mind, I didn't put nothing in the fridge, you know.
Yeah, that's,
And I'd be like, "Just some food."
that's so funny. Did you get told off?
No.
Mm.
No. But yeah, I had friends over. I had guy friends over all the time. Like my mum. But the thing is, I was open enough to always say to my mum that although we didn't have a close relationship, I would always. But I always sort of like yearned for. So the relationship I'm describing that I would have with my child is what I always sort of yearned for.
Mm.
Although I didn't have that, I would still do certain things
As if you did.
Yeah. So like if I was seeing a new guy, I'd be like to my mum in hopes that it would like make us like this. Oh, I'm seeing this guy, blah, blah, blah. I've got a new boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. So she knew all my boyfriends that I had, all the guys that I was like friends with. And like I had a friend who, because they would all come and knock for me and stuff as well. So she would need to know who they were, or who are you outside with? Who's this boy? Who's that boy? So she knew them like to a degree, do you know what I mean? To the point where if they come and knock for me, I'm not there. They wouldn't feel awkward because she knows who they are, and she wouldn't feel awkward because she knows who they are. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's important. So for me, it was mainly the sex or the hanky panky or the touching, as in like the rubbing and the touching and the not literally just sex, but anything.
When you're
like
young, it's
that.
not sex, it's like fingering and that.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Right, you two. Next bloody topic.
And that's fine.
Hanky panky's fine to say.
Neither of them are. Just stop, grandmas, please.
One thing as well, just to mention on this talking point, the staying over thing gets cloudy when you're both from different cultures.
Yeah.
Because for me,
We have to experience that.
with my parents and that was a huge no-go. But my boyfriend had been having girls stay over since he was like 15. No biggie. And his mum was cool. And I
think
was
people
like,
just need to make sure and be
mind-blown.
respectful of other cultures. Just understand that obviously everyone has their boundaries in their own homes and stuff.
Yeah, because that whole like social thing, like, you know, like having dinner with your kid's boyfriend, that's very normal to me. Like I will be doing that, and I wanted that to happen with my mum and my boyfriend and stuff, but not his family isn't that way inclined. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that like it's okay for you to stay over, but don't think that we're gonna like chat and this and that.
Oh no,
and
yeah. So with the people, if I did go around a boyfriend's house, it was never like a
Straight upstairs.
sit and chill with the mum. It would be like a, "Hi, you're right, I'm here in your house." Like I'll say bye when I'm leaving type vibe. Or it would be like a polite, quick, like, "How's your day?" Yeah, it was good. But it wouldn't be like a, "So what do you do? What are you into? What are your interests? What are your hobbies? How's school? It wouldn't be anything like that. Of course it should. Yeah. So I'm saying that's how I would be.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying that's what I was saying. I need to get to know him. The same way you know him, I need to know him.
Yeah.
I need to know I need to be able to anticipate what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I need to know if you know, they say parents can see things before you
Trust
do.
me.
So I need to know to pick up on certain behaviours that's erratic or whatever that you might not be able to see because you're too love blind. Because that happens.
What do you think that's mad?
I do think it's mad.
Why?
I think it's just because in my house, my parents are so uninvolved in my life that I could not imagine anyone having to like explain these things. Like I do understand if I feel like I was more like what you just said. Like if I go to someone's house, whatever, I would be like, "Hi, how are you?" Like a quick little whatever. But I guess like what about, so I understand if we're saying all of this, if it's someone that you're seriously seeing, but what about for the kids these days that are just sleeping around? Do you know what I mean?
Shouldn't be bringing
or
them
like
to
you
house.
just think it shouldn't be for sure. And then where do they go? That's what I mean. Because people are going to do it. People are going to do it.
I know they're going to do it, but then I'm not being horrible, but I feel like that should represent, how unserious you're taking this. Should be it should be represented in where you have sex. Then.
Yeah,
like go to a 2-bit Airbnb.
I hear you.
When you say kids these days, you're talking about people or kids? Because I'm literally imagining
I'm
like
thinking
13
more like
to 15-year-olds.
I'm thinking more. Oh no, see, I'm thinking more like our age. Sorry,
you calling me a kid?
It means like 19 to 25.
Sorry, yeah. I mean,
25-year-olds are not children.
Yeah, but
19-year-olds are not children.
Yeah, but on average, in London, most people in that age bracket live at home now.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you're kids.
I know that.
No,
but
okay, not kids.
At that age, you may not be kids, but young adults who are wanting to sleep around. Should you bring them to your house? Bearing in mind you might be making a contribution at home. Bearing in mind you're a young adult. Bearing in mind all those things. Should you be sleeping around and bringing them home?
That depends. That entirely depends on the dynamic you have with your parents, I believe. It's because at the end of the day, if you don't it's not your roof, innit? Yes, you're making a contribution, but it's not your roof. This is my home, and if I'm as a parent bringing random people around the house every 2 minutes. You should be able to respect me in the same way as you should with anybody. Do you know what I mean? Even if I had like a flatmate, I would expect you to have the same mutual respect for me as I have for you. So if I'm not bringing home different guys every night, I don't expect you to be doing it, vice versa. Do you know what I mean? If I knew that you was a quiet person who liked to, I don't know, watch movies on the sofa and I come stumbling in every night with a new guy, that's disrespectful because we both contribute to this house. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it entirely depends on your family dynamic. If you've got a parent that works away all the time and the house is always empty, do your thing. But if your parents are home,
they've had a hard day at work, I don't want to hear you tumbling around upstairs.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that in an ideal world, when people are, people will only bring people home that they see a real relationship with or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I think in reality, it's not always going to be like that. And I think on the one hand, I am very for like sexual liberation. Like you don't always need to be sleeping with someone that you want to you see a serious future with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but again, I agree with that.
Yeah, but you still think that you should come home and have a dinner with your family and be
no,
like, no.
I feel like if you want to live a life like that with no rules, get your own space.
Yeah, but what if you can't? I would love to. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
people would love to,
I
but
mean, you got to take.
It's true.
I
can't
have it all.
I think
it's true. So I think what I would do is that,
listen, Jade, if you lived in your mum's house, and you imagine your house now, and you just had far too many clothes for your room, far too many shoes, far too many bags, far too many everything, and it starts spilling out into the rest of the house. Everyone's tripping over your shit.
I get what you're saying. I wouldn't do it. I get what you're saying.
If you want to have that many clothes, get your own house with a spare bedroom where you can put all your shit and then nobody will be tripping out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, but I think in reality, like in society, I just feel like people aren't going to do that.
Yeah,
and so if I guess for people, sometimes I see their situations and I think that fair enough when you're younger, everything that you were saying, but as you get older, I guess as a parent, it is difficult, but especially in today's age where young people are staying at home longer, it is hard, but you do just have to acknowledge that they are adults. They can make up their own mind and they are, you know what I mean? Like you can't baby them anymore and be like, you need to tell me who you're bringing home. Like they are a grown ass man, or woman.
Definitely.
Like they're going to bring people home and it's hard, but you need to accept that and let them do their thing.
I agree.
And obviously hope that they will be respectful. And obviously they can't be bringing someone new every single night. But do you know what I mean?
Okay, I agree with both of you. And I think that the compromise here could be you both, if you know that's going to happen now, okay, I'm 24, for example. I'm not going to be able to move out for the next 2 years, Mum, but I'm a young lad. I want to free it up. You say, Mum, let's have a sit down here. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm going to order a takeaway. And I'm going to speak to you about how I feel. I am in this situation. I respect you. I'm contributing X amount. How much do you need from me, whether it be housework, contribution or whatever, for you to see me
what would make you
as
feel
more of an adult and therefore able to work with you in a partnership of running this home and be able to do my thing freely?
But it's not about contributions and you see me as an adult on rare tear. It's literally just about having respect. Like if your mum was a single woman,
she is.
Yeah, so imagine she was coming home with a new guy every week. She doesn't have to introduce him to you.
Of course.
I don't think she does. If she's taking them seriously,
do you say she does?
I don't think she should have
if
to.
she's not affecting me, if she's keeping it in her room, keeping it quiet.
You're home, you're sitting imagine the front door was in the living room.
Yeah.
And if they walk in, they have to walk past you.
Obviously, you need to tell me who this is.
This is what I'm saying.
But you just respect. You'd be like, hi, that's it.
Who's this? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to step out because I don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's happening every week in, week out, new guy.
I would say you need to seek some therapy.
Yeah,
because
then you'd be like,
look,
you wouldn't get involved and be like, I need to know who it is. You just be like, look, I understand, appreciate, but maybe seeing some new people all the time isn't good. Do you know what I mean? Maybe think about why you feel these or whatever.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I feel like you're
just
disrespecting me. I'd be more concerned
you
for
were
them.
just saying sexual liberation, you can do what you want, bring whoever you want.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But it depends because I know that some people are doing it because they might feel empty within themselves or whatever. It depends on the reason why they're doing it.
That's not what we're talking about right now.
It's true.
If they're happily doing it and it's not that for any type of way.
She was a single woman bringing in Tom, Dick and Harry. 3 guys in a week.
All right, 3 guys in a week. I'm not saying 3 guys in a week.
We're not saying she's fumbling with all of them.
But if every now and again, I'm not saying to the extreme.
You were just saying the extreme on the
No, I was saying once a week or once every 2 weeks. If she was doing
once
that.
every 2 weeks be okay with you?
I would be like, all right, it's none of my business. You're a grown-ass woman. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. She's a grown woman. Who am I to tell her what to do?
Mad.
No,
Anyway.
I do agree with that because I
It's
regularly
none of my
encourage my
business.
mum.
Yeah.
I do because I want her to be liberated. I do. I want her to feel that she can do what she's doing.
I'm not
However,
judging.
that can be that can be in a respectful way, Kadisha. It can be.
Yes.
With her saying to me a week in advance, Maya, I'm gonna have a male friend over to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Fine.
But you wasn't saying that the kids need to do that. You were just saying they're paying their bills, they're making their
Yeah, but in
contribution,
the
they can do what they
conversation-
want.
Quickly,
In that
someone's coming
conversation,
over.
in that conversation where the man sits
And
her
this
down
is what I was
whatever,
saying. Then why are they
have
doing that out of respect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All
all
right,
right.
please
We've
do
reached an
yours.
agreement.
Yeah.
You go.
That got a little bit heated. I'm
It's
hot.
gonna take that
It's a
colour
good
off.
one.
It was good.
That was a good one. It even overran.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. So my pick this week is
Another question.
no pet peeves.
Oh.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So it came to me this morning when I was late for work, and it's always when I'm late, people want me to hold the door open for them. Pisses me off. Like you can see I'm like speed walking, and like and then like out of politeness, I'm holding the door open. Put a hop in your step. Like hurry up and get to this door.
Yeah.
I haven't got all day. You see me speed walk past you to get to the door, and now you want to stroll. Or they see you speed walking, they're like, oh, hi, how are you? How's your day? I've not seen you in ages. You look like you lost weight. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, yeah, cool, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you later. And then they stop you to just talk, and you see I'm in a hurry. Hate it. That happens to me 5
No, the
mornings out of a
maddest
week.
shit happened to me. I was going somewhere,
This is a
right?
pet peeve, Jade.
On the thing of people opening doors or whatever.
I'm not sure if we can allow it.
Go on.
It'll be
Stick
quick.
to the topic.
Anyways, and then so and then I was going to the door. There's also someone coming through, so I opened it and was like, let them come through, right?
Yes.
They didn't say thank
even
you.
say thank you, nothing, just not even a smile,
I
not
hate
even a
that
look
as
into
well.
my eyes. I was
I
literally,
hate
I should have
that
just
as well.
slammed the door straight back in
Literally,
your face.
I felt it. I always shout, you're welcome.
Oh, I
yeah, I
hate
should
people
have.
that
I
do
should
that.
have. That's very passive
I
aggressive,
hate
but I know
that.
that's your
Don't
style.
give a shit.
Literally.
Yeah, you go.
Technology wise, it's happened to me earlier today. I hate when you're waiting for ages for something to send, and then you look back down and it's like got almost the bar's almost full. You know, the circle, it's almost full. And then it goes, sorry, unable to send or unable to this or whatever it is. And you're just like, you fucker. I've waited all this shitting time
my
for you to
gosh.
shit out at the end. Hate that. Also, catching my clothes on things as I walk past.
Oh,
Yes.
Also, when I
Whoa.
can't hear you got me going. Also, when I can't hear someone on the other end of the phone.
Oh my
yes.
God.
I won't wait for the second hello.
No, you
Hello?
don't.
Hang up.
You actually don't.
I don't. That's it. Hello. I'll call you back, but I'm not doing that.
That's
and
hilarious.
it's so annoying when I hear other people be like, hello.
That's me.
Hello. I
That's
don't
me.
try. If I can't hear the first time, I'm gone. And then another link to that is when a person doesn't try and hear you.
Oh, right, yeah.
If I'm out
Also
and about,
me.
if I'm out and about, it's gonna be wind. I might be on my bike.
Yeah.
You will have a few words missed. Use your brain and put together what I'm
But
trying
I
to
do
say.
do that though because I am deaf.
Try your hardest
Me
and
too.
try again,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
ask me what. Don't
Yeah.
go straight to what. That's so
Oh,
lazy.
yeah.
That's so lazy.
Oh my God.
Sometimes
I'm
it takes
talking
a
to
minute for me to click. Like I'll be like, what? And then by the time I've said that, it clicks. I'm like,
So
oh.
I
same.
just ignore the first one.
Yeah. Same.
That's tricky. Pet peeves. You know, I'm actually really easygoing. I don't get annoyed at many things at all, really. I don't know, apart from that open the door thing, that does really piss me off.
You-
I think it's just general rudeness. Like if I'm doing something nice,
Yeah.
I'm doing something a little polite, a quick thank you. Like
You get
whatever.
annoyed at people lying.
Oh, yeah, lies. Do you know what it is? Because there's just no reason for you to lie to me because I will understand. I'm trying to understand your point of view. Anything you tell me, do you know what I mean? Like, as long as you've been honest about it, I won't be mad. The only thing that will get me mad is if you're lying or like obviously if you're chatting shit, not making sense. But like 9 times out of 10, if you're being honest with me, like I'm trying to understand your point of view and I'm not going to feel any type of way. But yeah, lying, that does get me. I'm not having that.
I don't mind that much. Obviously, it's not good,
Mm.
but lying isn't a biggie for
Or
me.
just lack of politeness. I feel like I can be very, like I try to be very like, thank you or like, please or like, I'm very like sorry or apologetic and stuff. So when, I don't know, when people were just so blunt or like cocky or arrogant, I'm just like, oh.
What about
That's it.
people that are walking and you're walking behind them and then they stop?
Oh, that pisses me off. You know, we're on the platform with the tube, you're trying to go, you're trying to get to
And
the
you're like-
exit, and someone's just taking their merry ass time, and you're like, I need to get somewhere in 5 minutes, and you're trying to like go around them, and then they're just like going that way and then going that way.
Yeah,
I
hate
could
it,
scream.
hate it. Like yesterday, actually, when I was going home, I was coming out of the train station, walking up the stairs, and like when I'm walking behind somebody, I walk behind the person that looks like they're walking the fastest pace.
Yeah.
So if I'm walking behind you, but then you start walking a bit slower, and then you start weaving that way, I'm gonna try and overtake you. But then you decide that you don't actually want to go that way. You start coming back this way, and then you walk into me, and then you look back at me like, "What are you doing?" When you was clearly going to the left a second ago. Pisses me off. I feel to drag you back downstairs.
I don't like wincing.
Oh.
When people wince. When they're
That's
oh.
That's so funny.
Don't
I do that
fucking
all
Your mum
the time.
See? Thank you. She does it all the time about everything.
Why?
Because she wants me to be like, what's wrong? And instead I'm like, shut up. I hate when people wince.
Oh my days.
If anyone around me winces and I haven't seen the injury to cause you to wince, don't do it.
Yeah.
I hate it when I'm waiting for the bus and let's say I was the first one at the bus stop and then 3 people come and they're all like trying to push me on the floor so that they can get on the bus first.
Oh.
Like really, especially when the bus is empty, I'm like, we can all get on. Like, first of all, and I was here. It's weird because in Leicester, people queue
Oh,
for the
yeah.
bus. People queue for the bus. Like in London, so I don't know anywhere else that doesn't queue apart from London.
Yeah.
They just literally...
everyone thinks that their issue and their rush is more important than everyone else's.
And people that don't cover their mouth when they cough.
People that don't cover their mouth
And when they
cover them when they sneeze,
When
and
they
I have to
sneeze.
smell the sneeze. I'm disgusted by that. That's horrible. When I've got to smell someone sneeze, that's
Yeah,
the
people
worst.
that don't cover their mouth when they... People that sneeze like tsh, tsh, jarring.
I just
hold my
envision the
nose.
germs,
The germs
spreading. And you know,
spreading.
I can
germs
see it.
spread
I
around
can
the
see
room
it.
in like
You
less
can't
than a
see it,
second, in a
man.
I can
fraction of a
see
second.
the wet
The
come out
spit.
when you sneeze.
Okay.
I don't look, but I can see it sometimes.
Now none of us can sneeze because we all know we're judging each other about this shit.
No, when someone sneezes, I open the window. I do.
I hold my breath.
No, right, you
You
should.
hold your breath. It's only going to come in
Like,
after.
It's true, it's true.
Just
I
need
do
to wait
hold
for
my
it to
breath.
spread around for like that little second that it's getting the air and hope that it just passes by. Oh
my
God.
pet peeve is when
Even as if you haven't had 15
Yeah.
already.
even though I do it sometimes as well, but when people talk and they say like a word wrong, or like they'll say like if somebody
Yeah.
say
I always say that
yeah,
with
I
diaspora.
bring
it's
it with
diaspora.
me. People say I bring it with me.
I brought it with me.
Yeah, that would I'll be like
No, for me, it's when people type where or like no,
Where
you,
we're-
your,
yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
I was guilty of that only on text because I'm lazy, but then I had to change it in my autocorrect to get myself out of the habit.
Sort it
And
out.
then when I
written
started
something.
doing it anyway, and autocorrect was still trying to correct me, I had to take it off because now I know the difference. But yeah, I used to do that sometimes.
Yeah, that's mad.
Okay, let us know what your pet peeves are. We've had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, I said I had no pet peeves, and it came out with like 10. So clearly,
I
I,
did it
I
for
have
long
way
ago.
more, but
Yeah,
I didn't actually.
We
write
can
them
start
down.
sharing them a bit, but we can start letting them go on social media, I guess. and
Yeah,
sharing
let
them.
us
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
yours
yeah.
are.
Let
and
us
we'll
know what
post up the
yours
best
are.
ones.
Shout
Yeah.
outs.
Shout outs.
I'll go first.
Okay, then.
I would like to shout out Hello Privilege, It's Me, Chelsea on Netflix. Very, very
Okay.
good. Please watch it. Really, really good. I watched it today. Excellent watch. White people especially watch it.
Okay, then.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's
I
it,
can't
isn't it?
remember what you.
It's on
what-
Netflix.
What was that topic you said to me? What was your topic? Voting. Oh. I can't think of what my shout out was, but I guess I'm just going to shout out again Baseo, because honestly, follow her on Instagram. She will tell you all about. I feel like she becomes in way too many of our shout outs, but it's because
Your
you know you're
shout-outs.
good.
You need to start paying us for promo. Chris.
But yeah, if you're ever confused about like politics and stuff like that, she literally puts it in layman terms, and you can keep up to date. She does them all the time, and it makes you understand, because I didn't know, and she's really helped me. So yeah, Baseo Twins on Instagram.
My shout out this week is D-Block Europe's new project, PTSD.
What's that?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
D-Block Europe, they're a music group, 2 guys.
Is that why you asked me yesterday? You're like, do you listen to them?
No, because the album came out yesterday.
Oh, okay. Is that why you're playing it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So that new project, PTSD, give it a listen. It's got like 28 songs on it though. Loads.
Okay, cool. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank
We hope you
you.
enjoyed. Bye.
Bye.